back to Bald Bearded Bicyclist. This is the Fireball Week 3 here, and this was just last week, and there was a break in the Fireball. We did a TT the one Thursday, so we're kind of getting back to it on this one, and good clipping, and I am on the front, and there's just kind of a little gap here, so I kind of keeping an eye on it. I'm slowly bringing up the power a little bit, and just looks like no one really wants to be on my wheel, so I think giving a second, I look back again and realize there's a gap and bring up the power a little bit just to see what would happen. So yeah, close to 500 watts here just before the first turn. Let's see if we can get things strung out to start and get things moving here. Everyone's pretty much on me through the turn. Put in a little bit of effort just to kind of see what's going on here. Get things moving, and everything was pretty much together. Drew just kind of came up to the front, and then through this turn he took off. I didn't really want him to be with James by himself, so I brought up the speed a little bit, hoping that would spur others to jump across and see a few of my teammates go. So now I'm not worried, but I am trying to get my speed up to get on the back of this pack. And I will tell you, for whatever reason, I guess not really for whatever reason, I know why, I was not feeling good this week. We had the downtown crit the Sunday before this, and I raced 3 crit races in a day, and I meant to be able to spin out my legs. I wanted to spin out my legs the week of this Fireball to just kind of gently get rid of the fatigue, but life got in the way, and I was just kind of like, I worked really hard, I'm just going to take a couple of days off. So I ended up taking 3 full days off before this race, which for me just left my legs feeling absolutely dead. So, some people might like a little bit of extra recovery, like full days off. I've found that from my body, spinning my legs at a recovery pace is a little bit better, and I don't get that massive dead legs feeling after days off. So, we've got a little bit of just back and forth chasing here, and I'm just watching these wheels and kind of jumping in the draft as people are attacking through. So there's a little bit of a gap behind me, and if I wanted this break to get away, I probably could have slid left there and kept the pace up. But at this point, we're just soft pedaling and we're letting it come back together. So. But we got James attacking from the front. I know Drew was just doing work on the front, so I take this up because I didn't see anybody else jumping on it. Obviously, we don't want him to get away solo. Right now, I believe he is leading this series, and I was second in the series going into this. So I bring up the speed, and then Drew is able to attack over that, which is great. But I will tell you, this early in the race, I was like, whoa, why do I feel like such crap right now? I was really struggling to grab onto Alessandro's wheel here, and that's when all the dash lights started blinking for me, and I was like, whoa, I definitely do not feel good today. I had also just gotten a bike fit earlier that day, this day, and I was thinking, wow, maybe it's just that I'm recruiting different muscles now, maybe I'm just flat from all the days off, I don't really know, but I just knew that I was not feeling great. This race was also really hard. I think looking at my power from the first 2 weeks, I think this one was actually a little bit higher. Despite me not feeling great, I'm still going to do what I can here. So attack through And I looked back, I saw Todd right on my wheel, and honestly, I thought everyone else was there. And I full on like soft pedaled, and then he went flying by me. And if I knew what was going on better, I probably would have jumped onto his wheel to see if we could have stayed away for a little bit. We did let him go a bit, and then at this point, James, or I think that's actually Brian, wanted to jump across to Todd. So I'm going to pick it up and close up that gap, because obviously I don't want any sort of breakaway away with no red jerseys. And then jumping forward, we get a couple of our guys picking it up. We got Honcho on the front. That's Drew, Alessandro, and I think James there that made that little move. And they're going hard. You can see they were maybe set up for a second and then realized they had a gap, and then it looks like there was another attack there. And it's taking us a little bit to bring up the pace here, and we got Tyler on the front, who's a solo rider, so I think he's bringing up the speed, realizing that he really wants to be in that breakaway. But with only one Chicluna guy in there, he maybe should have just pulled off and let them do the work, and then if there was an opportunity to bridge, would have been better off for him. But I just kind of rolled over, and then we got Rich with a nice attack here. He jumps across, brings a couple of guys with him, but Jim was there as well. And then this is all starting to come back together, and I'm going to struggle to get back on the back here and spend a little bit of time in the draft. So jumping forward, I think actually Jim ended up getting off the front at this point, and so Moose tries to bring him back. Rich was right on his wheel in good position, so now all of a sudden the three of them are off the front, and I think Jim had maybe already been off the front, maybe for half a lap, something like that. So we're going to I think this actually might be a full lap later. They might actually still be off the front there. And I think that's Todd putting in a bit of an attack, and we're gonna follow wheels. I got James behind me right now, Brian slotting back, and so I see Honcho wants to go here, and I know that James is behind me. I'm trying to block him, and you could hear Drew actually say, James is going. So my watts actually went up before James even passed me. I wasn't obviously trying to catch Honcho, but I wanted to have enough speed so that James didn't fly past me. I'm glad I did that, because then I was able to just kind of jump onto his wheel. However, when Honcho realized we caught him, he sat up, blew a snot rocket, and I'm pretty sure it hit me. But Drew attacks over the top of that with a nice counter, and due to the traffic there with Tyler, James kind of had to jump around a little bit, which was good, and put a little bit of pressure on him. And we bring this together a little bit, and I'm gonna try to attack over the top. I know that those guys were still off, so we got, again, Rich, Jim, and Moose are off, and this is a big effort. I wasn't feeling good. My absolute max heart rate is like 182, so you can see right now it's 177, which means I'm not feeling great. But I think the thought of, hey, I got two teammates up here, only one Chicluna guy, and I can make it across this, is helping spur me on. And I saw them kind of looking back. I thought what they were doing was waiting for me to catch, but in talking to them, I think they just didn't like, they didn't want to bring Moose to the line in that breakaway, and then When I got there, I think that changed the situation, but it was maybe a little late. They had hadn't really committed to it, and so I tried to get to the front here and bring up the pace, but I think it was just in their minds, it was like, oh, we didn't want to bring Moose, but you know, I would much rather bring Moose to the line with 3 of us than let James get in a breakaway and bring him to the line. So yeah, I tried to bring that speed up a bit, but behind us, I'm pretty sure it's James. He's bringing the speed up. That was a little close call there, and I think that maybe caused Rich and Jim to sit up. Everything was good. We avoided the car, but a little sketchy. But yeah, at that point I kind of looked back and saw that everyone was there and Rich and Jim were not on my wheel. So you know, I'm really hurting because I was just off the front, and then James attacks. I was glad Drew was able to stick with him. I'm trying to even just get back into the draft here. I was struggling a bit. So lap 5, I see a good hole here, and I want to attack strong. I got a little nervous as Tyler was drifting over there, and by the time I got past, I was just like, oh, I don't think I was carrying enough speed. So I sat up a little bit, but Rich was able to get on my wheel, and he used his speed to attack over me, so that was great. I probably should have just gone with those guys, but I was thinking that maybe somebody else would go, and I think that was James that just went across. I was just struggling. I really should have grabbed onto the 3 of those when we made that first attack. But everything's getting strung out now. About 22 minutes in. Try to throw that little timer up on there too, so you can gauge, you know, how long we've been out here just attacking each other. But everything gets brought back together here, and then a little attack goes, and I'm not sure who spurred that one on. It looks like Drew followed, probably. I think it was James. It looks like Chris might have been in that original attack too. He was the one that followed Rich. So James sits up. People are taking some drinks, and Honcho does a little effort, but he sits up quick. Honestly, this would have been, if I wasn't feeling like such crap, I should have drifted to the right of James and maybe attacked over Honcho there. But I mean, for as crappy as I was feeling, I did do a good amount of attacks and spent some time off the front. You know, James was looking right back at me when I did this. That was maybe not a well-timed attack. I was trying to carry my speed again, but the fact that he literally watched me start spinning it up, you know, he was able to just slide right over into my draft, and I don't think that's going to hurt him much. But there's always the chance that it could bring up the speed and then allow for somebody else to counter over the top, which is exactly what Drew does. And you can tell, yeah, James is on him, but he's out of the saddle. He's working a little bit harder to actually get his speed up and get fully attached to Drew. And that's what you want to do if you are trying to hurt somebody. So just a little bit further up, no one's really away. Tyler does a little attack here, and I just kind of slid up just to patrol a little bit to see if anyone from Shikluna was going to try to jump with that. And so I slide in behind Brian here, and he actually picks up the pace quite a lot from the front, and you know, I just want to stay in his wheel. Obviously it benefits me. We don't want Tyler to completely go off solo, and if he's going to do the work, I'll stay with him. And as we're keeping up the speed, and he pulls off a little bit, you know, I do a little bit of power just to close this, but I'm not going crazy. I just wanted to keep my speed and figured we'd bring him back. And you can see I'm just kind of drifting up to him at 100 watts, 150 watts. And in the back, you can see Rich goes, and James is right on his wheel though. And I'm struggling, and I'm on the front. There's just no reason for me to pull everybody, but I don't want to let this get away either. So I'm trying to get on Alessandro's wheel here, and it is difficult. So we're bringing the two of them back now, Rich and James, and things are pretty strung out going into this corner. And you can see Honcho puts in another dig there just to keep the speed up, and him and Rich basically rotate around James. Drew and Alessandro pick it up, and I'm just hurting so bad, and honestly in my mind I justified just letting that go because I was like, oh well, there's 3 red jerseys up there, I'm fine with that mix, but I should have stayed with it. I think everybody was hurting, and if I just put in a little bit, maybe the guys behind wouldn't have chased. But Todd actually did a bit of a little attack from this is actually Todd Backus closing this up, but there was the solo guys are kind of an X factor in this race because they had put in a little bit of effort there and brought this back. For the most part in these races, I'm really just looking to Scicluna to make moves and people I want to mark and follow, but having a few solo riders who are strong and trying to make moves as well, can throw a wrench in it a little bit. This was bad positioning on my part. I kind of tucked myself onto the right here where there's a bunch of my teammates, so I'm boxed in by my own team. What I should be doing is at the back marking Scicluna riders that may attack with speed from the back. Luckily that's not what happened, and it was an attack from the front, which then is going to string things out and I'm able to move around. But yeah, that's kind of a dangerous position to be in. Unfortunately, Honcho gets a flat here. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row he's had a mechanical, so that's just such a bummer. But he'll be back, and the race goes on. So I think Rich and Jim and James must have gotten away there, and Alessandro as well. So I should have just attacked here, and I even rolled to the front and I was like, Drew, should I try to bridge? And he was like, if you can. But I had slowed down, and at this point I can't really attack with speed, and so I kind of just took the front, and as Drew drifted back, and you see he kind of puts himself in better position to make that bridge. So obviously I don't really want to be on the front. I'm just soft paddling. Nobody else wants to do any work. They're telling me to attack from the front, and as they're saying that, Drew puts in a nice attack, and right into the corner, so it would have been hard for somebody to really grab onto his wheel. So that was really nicely timed. Todd says, caught me napping. I said, yeah, he likes to do that. So I'm fully aware somebody might counter here. So I was looking back, I saw Moose, I put in 1100 watts to try to bring my speed up. It's going to take me a bit to latch on here, but I definitely can't let him go solo, and I've got a gap anyways, so if he's going to do the work, wonderful. Finally got onto his wheel, and we are close to Drew. I'm seeing that Rich got dropped, which is a bummer, and I'm thinking, oh, we should probably have more representation in there to help. And I put in a bit of effort. I'm thinking, well, maybe Moose wants to get over enough that we'll work together. So I'm putting in a bit of an effort, and I think maybe right after this turn, I flick my elbow, and I realized very quickly that Moose wants me to do it. I basically tell him, look, if you're not going to help, I can't do that. I can't do it myself. I'm struggling today. And so, we just bicker back and forth trying to get each other to do work. Meanwhile, a little bit further on, Tyler puts in a good attack right before the turn and gets a good amount of separation, but I'm putting in a little bit of power, and he probably is. He's getting away a little bit. I see Scicluna come around. I'm not going to let Todd get ahead here. The other Todd comes around, grabbing that wheel, and it's like, all right, thankfully I don't have to close this gap myself. And looking back on it, we're second to last lap. I'm carrying speed here. I maybe should have attacked over the top here and just tried to go solo, because other guys had just put in a bit of effort trying to bring Tyler back, and it's late in the race. Everybody's hurting. If I could have gotten separation, it would have taken a lot of motivation, I think, for guys to jump on my wheel and try to stick with me. So, missed opportunity, but it is what it is. Chris comes to the front here. He puts in a bit of an effort, and I'm just going to try to stick in the wheel. But at this point, I kind of figure that group is gone. I don't want to tow these guys to them. So, if he wants to put in work, that's fine. But I don't really want to burn myself out on the last lap when, out of the pack that we have right now, I'm the only project rider still in this group, and there's 2 solo guys and there's 3 Scicluna guys. I think we've got Brian, Chris, Moose, and Todd. So there's 4 Scicluna guys, myself, and Todd and Tyler, the solo riders. So I don't want to be doing too much work this last lap, because they could really hurt me. But we got the solo riders who are really trying to pick up the pace a little bit. They're concerned that break got away, and Brian puts in another little attack as the speed gets up, and I'm definitely going to watch that one. Luckily, I got Tyler here helping me bring up the speed a little bit and bring this back. I know everybody's hurting, and I can tell that Tyler doesn't want to completely burn himself out either. Maybe right there would have been another place to attack, and Todd actually does use that. Again, I'm lucky that Tyler's here, and I can kind of get into his draft a little bit. But I just don't have the snap. I mean, you can see every one of those efforts is like 400 watts. I've pretty much burned all my 1,000 watt matches. Todd's he's going for it here. Tyler is falling back. And at this point, I'm thinking, if I can slowly get up to Todd, I don't want to burn myself. I don't want to go over 400 watts. But if I can slowly get him and sneak up on him, maybe he thinks that he's away. I haven't seen him look back. So I'm legitimately thinking I'm going to trick him into leading me out. He's putting in work. I'm not right on his wheel, but I'm definitely still getting a draft from him, and I'm doing 300 something watts. So he's got to be going hard. I see Jim falling back too, so that's a bummer. I'm just like, oh man, our that brake must have fallen apart, and so I'm just trying to hang on to Todd here. I am getting a good draft, and I don't yet think he sees me or knows that I'm right behind him. And we got about 300 meters here. I see him stand up 200 meters. I probably went a bit early, and I just did not have the snap. I had no sprint. 600, I don't even think I hit 700 watts. I see that front wheel of Todd come around me, and I know that he's just got the speed. So good race. I think I got fifth. Wish I had waited on that sprint a little bit longer, but tough race, and wasn't too bad. All right, so we'll see you next week, and make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.